Welcome to the video tutorial of the Spaces for All joint strategy on territorial planning for accessible tourism in rural regions of Central Europe. From March 2023 to February 2026, the CE Spaces for All project connected public authorities, the tourism sector and persons with disabilities to improve governance for more accessible tourism. Partners from 7 Central European countries developed and pilot-tested new tools to improve accessible tourism in 3 cross-border pilot rural regions. Based on lessons learned among all partners in various European sites, one joint strategy was developed to provide practical guidelines for integrating accessibility into tourism planning, strengthening institutional frameworks, and supporting local service providers in delivering services for all. The main objective of the Spaces for All joint strategy is to establish an inclusive, sustainable and competitive rural tourism offer that is accessible to everyone regardless of disability. To achieve this, the Spaces for All joint strategy defines the following goals. Ensuring and improving the accessibility of tourism infrastructure and sites so that they are safe and available for everyone. Implementing training and awareness-raising programs for decision makers and service providers, covering accessibility tasks, the needs of persons with disabilities and appropriate methods of communication with them. Improving the accessibility of digital tools and platforms, including websites, mobile applications, innovative solutions and online booking systems. Introducing and applying assistive devices and technologies, such as induction loops, audio guides and other supportive solutions. Organizing inclusive tourism programs and events that are accessible and enjoyable for everyone, regardless of their abilities. Spaces for All joint strategy is consistent with the documents such as UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, European Disability Strategy 2021 to 2030, Transition Pathway for Tourism, and European Agenda for Tourism 2030. Spaces for All joint strategy lists 6 priorities. Priority 1, involvement of persons with disabilities and representative organizations in decision making. Priority 2, training for public authorities and service providers in accessibility and inclusion. Priority 3, use of digital tools and data to improve planning and increase the visibility of accessible services. Priority 4, removal of physical and information barriers in accommodation, transport, culture and natural areas. Priority 5, increasing the visibility of accessible tourism and its offerings both at home and abroad. Priority 6, tracking progress and supporting development through relevant indicators. These key principles form the strategic framework for ensuring accessible tourism, where everyone can enjoy traveling across Europe without barriers. The project's pilot activities provided practical insights and tested approaches that shape implementation guidelines, making them both useful and easy to apply for accessible tourism. Effective accessible tourism planning requires meaningful participation of persons with disabilities and their organizations, alongside authorities and service providers, through consultations, workshops, co-design sessions and advisory structures to ensure practical, inclusive and sustainable solutions. Training decision makers and tourism service providers, covering green, digital and accessibility skills and involving persons with disabilities, is essential to ensure sustainable, competitive and universally accessible tourism in line with EU frameworks like the Pact for Skills and the Tourism Transition Pathway. Accessible tourism planning works best when reliable, up-to-date data is collected and shared, using tools like geographic information systems and, for example, the Spaces for All web accessibility viewer, so planners and decision makers can identify gaps and guide interventions that are helpful for persons with disabilities to plan barrier-free travel. Digital tools and EU initiatives help make rural tourism more inclusive by giving people with disabilities easy access to information, booking systems and interactive maps while improving the overall visitor experience. Engaging accessibility consultants from planning to evaluation helps ensure projects meet accessibility standards, integrate EU directives, involve stakeholders and create truly inclusive, sustainable and high-quality tourism developments. Linking accessibility efforts to recognize European and national certification schemes helps tourism providers and destinations demonstrate inclusivity, gain credibility, enhance visibility, competitiveness, and embed accessibility as a permanent part of tourism development. The European Disability Card and European Parking Card support inclusive tourism by recognizing the rights of persons with disabilities across borders, enabling easier planning and access to services, and helping destinations strengthen trust, accessibility, and competitiveness. The Spaces for All joint strategy was developed with the vision that by 2035 and beyond, tourism regions in Central Europe will be fully inclusive, where every person, regardless of disability, can equally enjoy cultural, natural, and recreational experiences, both in remote and rural destinations. Project partners from 7 Central European countries signed a Memorandum of Understanding, expressing their shared commitment to apply and promote the principles of the Spaces for All joint strategy. Drawing on the project's lessons learned, tested pilot solutions and EU frameworks for inclusive and sustainable tourism, the Spaces for All joint strategy is followed by action plans specific to each pilot region. They can be found on the CE Spaces for All project website. Let's make tourism accessible to all.